So welcome. So at any time when I stay in front of such an audience, I'm asking myself, why the hell are you doing that? So after talking about my feelings, welcome to my presentation with the title, Transformation Cannot Succeed in the Comfort Zone. I would like to give you some insights into the strategy we developed 2 years ago, with the goal to improve the performance of the IT and the resilience, especially in times of short resources and missing skills. Before we start, a few words about Trumpf. Not sure if you know the company. Trumpf is a family-owned company. We are one of the market leaders in the area of machine tools and laser technology for the manufacturing industry. We are driven mainly by two big business areas, so the machine tools and the laser technology. You can also see here the revenue share of these two business areas. But you can also see on the right side of the slides a fast-growing new business area, so the laser systems for semiconductor lithography, difficult word. So these components are used in huge machines to produce microchips. This year we are celebrating 100 years of Trumpf, but the company has a history, but it's still fast growing. And as you could imagine, the company is very innovative, very technology-driven, has a fast or a big, huge growth still in revenue, but also with people. And all these expectations, these requirements are also addressed to the IT. And that was the reason why we started to rethink our IT strategy and why we would like to reposition the IT in the whole organization. Some facts and figures about the IT. So we are around about 400 IT guys around the globe. We've developed 3 regional IT centers, so 3 IT hubs in Asia Pacific, Americas, and in Europe. More about the IT globalization later. And we are currently active in 4 main areas. One is the implementation of a business partner organization with an account management, a strong enterprise architecture management. We are transforming our service portfolio into a product IT, so with an active lifecycle management, with fast lanes in the implementation, fixed capacities and fixed budgets. And we are very driven by projects, so we have a unique project demand, and that is a prior one, in our case, that drives this strategy. In the next 4 slides, I would like to explain how we've developed our IT strategy 2 years ago. From my point of view, it's quite important also to have a look into the market, to see and understand market trends. And I put some examples here. I'm pretty sure that most of them are also relevant for your organizations. And I also don't want to go into all of them, but only to talk about a few of those. The war in the Ukraine, we just heard about it. Global tensions makes it necessary to rethink our own position globally and how we would like to deal with that in the future. Cybersecurity is a no-brainer, was important, will be important more and more in the future. Another important topic, and I'm pretty sure that we have all of us have to manage that, is the fight for talents, missing digital skills, higher expectations from our employees in regards of the working environment. That is something we have to address in strategy and we have to take care of. Besides these external drivers, it's important to understand the requirements and the expectations from a company's perspective. In our case, we are very driven in the IT from the digital ambition at Trumpf. The digital ambition was already defined years ago. It's still valid. We are currently updating it as a version 3, also including how markets are developing, also including the external influencing factors. And the IT is responsible for many activities and tasks in the digital ambition. As I already mentioned, Trumpf is a fast-growing company, and therefore we need a scalable IT to manage all that. And that leads also to a high project demand. So we have a huge backlog due to Corona and also to the growing markets. And that is something we have to address in the strategy. Knowing all that, so putting these external drivers and these internal drivers into consideration, we designed a new IT strategy. It is split in 3 phases. So phase 1 will be completed mid of this year, and we are currently preparing the phase 2. In that context, it's also quite important to understand where the IT is coming from, so the as is, and what the target picture is, so the to be. In the past, the IT at Trumpf was very centralized. So the main projects, programs, the introduction of new platforms was very driven out of the headquarters, and then afterwards the solutions have been rolled out, or in some cases also not. And we want to be a global IT organization, to utilize all these potentials and capabilities we have in our subsidiaries. In the past, the IT was very reactive. We had too many small projects and IT demands, and therefore we had a less strategical impact to the company. We are changing now the focus. We are implementing a business partner strategy. We want to be closer to the customers, and we are focusing on large-scaled transformation programs to make a real business impact and to have a value add with the IT organization. In the last years, we spent a hell of money into technologies, new systems, new platforms that was good, and it was necessary because we have to support and drive the digital ambition. Now we have to create benefit out of these platforms, improve the adoption, create content, applications to create a real value out of these investments. On that slide, I would like to summarize the strategy development, all the things you heard, considering the internal drivers, so the expectations from the companies, from the stakeholders and the executives, considering external drivers and trends in the market. We are doing a lot of benchmarking with external partners to get impulses from the market. Analyze their own capabilities, so the as is and the to be, and with all these learnings, the IT strategy was defined with hundreds of concrete tasks on a strategic level, on a tactical level, some of those very on the ground. And in order to prioritize those individual tasks and to bring them into the right order, we decided to cluster those in 4 so-called strategic fields of action. So everything we are doing in the Trumpf IT is somehow located into digital and digitalization and innovation, cost effectiveness, people and organization, and business value. To make it more concrete, do some kind of looking back on phase 1 and what we've achieved. I selected some of the major pillars that, from my point of view, are quite important to be successful in a transformation program. As you can see in these 4 strategic fields of action, we have hundreds of concrete tasks we are implementing, but there are some highlights we have to consider at the very first beginning to be successful at the end. I will start with the most sexy topic. It's the IT budgets and how IT costs are developing. Not sure, but I could imagine that all of you are having hard discussions with the top management if it comes to the development of IT costs. My goal was from the beginning to take out the pressure of these discussions, to leave that phase of hard cost cutting behind us. Because from my point of view, it also has only a short time effect when you stay in that phase. We jumped into a phase of cost optimization. That means we started to gain full transparency down to the ground into all IT costs with standardized processes when it comes to budgeting and cost development. We defined guardrails, we tried to understand and we analyzed our service portfolio. We started to consolidate it for a service portfolio, and we tried to push as good as we can our managed services to external partners with the goal to get free capacity back that we can then use in projects, for example. That was quite successful from my point of view. In the first year, we delivered 10% cost reduction in the existing application portfolio, and this year we are delivering 15% cost reduction in the portfolio. But also to make that clear, we will always have increasing IT costs. Yeah? The business growth means more people, more licenses. Business growth means more projects, more application. We have to manage after go live and bring them into a supporting model. Yeah, that's clear. But at the end, these cost reductions helped us to to make that increasing curve somehow flat, and to manage the costs. And we are now able to go into phase 3, and here we are talking about the value optimization. That means communicate what kind of value an IT can bring, explain and be fully transparent if you explain when it comes to new solution. Make it clear what at the end the value is for the company. In the past, the IT was seen as a bottleneck, too complex processes, complex governance, missing resources, missing skills. That is something we have to tackle at the beginning. We reorganized our organization. We changed the way of how we are working. We standardized processes. We introduced a new governance. You see it later. And also that push of commodity service to external partners gave us the chance to use all these new capacities and to bring them into a strong project delivery. And another lever was reducing the number of small projects, consolidate the project portfolio and concentrate on large-scaled programs. In the past, we were able to implement 1, maximum 2 large programs. Here I'm talking about a project budget greater than 10 million euros. And currently we are implementing 5 transformation programs in parallel. S4 transformation, a business process standardization, a program for order fulfillment, service fulfillment. We are introducing a PLM platform. We are implementing the customer experience platform together with our business areas for our end customers. And we have a hybrid, cloud hybrid strategy where we push our applications into the cloud. All these activities enabled us to improve the project delivery by 150% in the last 2 years. Another important KPI or interesting KPI is the one below, the share between grow and transform, so the project delivery and operations. We started 2 years ago with a share of 25 to 75 projects versus operations. The forecast in this year is 45 to 55. And that is also a good argument for the IT, that we are creating a real value and benefit for the organization. What we've learned in that process, more and more projects, consolidation in the IT organization, and a hard push of resources into the project delivery. We learned that we had a bad IT governance. Too many change requests in the whole portfolio, many escalations, the projects were not stable, the whole portfolio was not stable. And therefore I decided to consolidate all resources, roles and people that are somehow acting in that whole end-to-end process from a project idea to the project delivery and the project closure in one department, to get the end-to-end responsibility out of one hand. That means portfolio managers, account managers, business partner managers, license managers, IT controlling, supplier manager, every role is consolidated in one department. We reviewed our IT governance, the processes. We defined more milestones. We implemented some new frameworks and formats to review on a regular basis. The big projects, we had installed also coaching for our project managers. And in the first year, so we are now active in that organization since 1 year, we reduced the number of change requests by 50%. So that helped us at the end to stabilize the whole portfolio and to give or to be able to give clear commitments to the business if it comes to new projects and project ideas. One key pillar and activity from my point of view is to have a good enterprise architecture management in place that is outcome driven. In our case, I was in a good situation because already 3 to 4 years ago, we at Trumpf defined a so-called reference architecture. It's also available as a download, the white paper on our homepage. See a link here. In the meantime, it becomes some kind of best practice in the industry. What we did is we've consolidated our architecture portfolio and we defined end-to-end, so from the machine to the machine with all the processes in between. What kind of platforms we would like to use if it comes to the development of digital solutions. These individual components are called the application building blocks. At any time when we have new project ideas, when we would like to go into a solution scouting, at any time we are checking if we can deliver the functionality out of our reference architecture. That helped us a lot to improve or reduce time to market. Due to the reusability of these components, we are saving a lot of money. And we have a good adoption and a maturity level of these application building blocks, because we are working with the content we have and the systems we have instead of introducing more and more new systems and applications. Another important step in the transformation was to leave that approach to do everything in the headquarters and to become a global IT, because in our case we have 150 IT employees around the globe in our subsidiaries, and there was no real connect between the headquarters and the subsidiaries, and there are a lot of skills and capacity available we can use for a global delivery model, and therefore we pushed that initiative to consolidate the IT and to implement a global IT organization. What we did in the first step is installing the so-called regional IT centers, the 3 already mentioned hubs, and now we are in a phase where we are consolidating the organization, so the subsidiaries, the IT guys who are located in the subsidiaries, they are now consolidated in these regional IT hubs. And we drive the application managed service initiative to hand over also local services into a shared service center or to external partners. And we want to use the free capacity, and we want to bring them then into global delivery models. That means global project work and support models in a 24/7 approach around the globe. Now I want to come back to my initial title, Transformation Cannot Succeed. Cannot succeed in the comfort zone, sorry. Just to go back, what you heard today is that we are driving many initiatives at the same time in parallel. Implementing a global governance, strengthen enterprise architecture management, introducing and implementing a global IT organization. Every single activity is already a change in the organization, and we are doing all that at the same time and in parallel. Therefore, it is, from my perspective, quite important to concentrate on the change, to start a change program. And our motto is put our people in the center of the whole change and all activity, and concentrate on our people, because we don't want to lose our employees in that process. And therefore, we concentrated on 4 major activities. First of all, it was the change, a huge change program supported by HR and educated change managers, also external managers. We are very active in the area of leadership to get a common understanding of how we are interpreting leadership, to have a common mindset. And therefore, all managers in the IT had to join a leadership training, independent how long they are doing their job. And they are supported by coaches during the first year of the transformation. We are now in year 2, and we are now focusing on going global, with the RITCs and with the consolidation of the subsidiaries. But we started already from the beginning to bring the people together. Even if we know that the transformation starts a little bit earlier, because in the first year we had to concentrate on the headquarters. But in the early phase, we involved all the IT guys worldwide. We tried to bring all the people together in order to have a clear understanding of what the plan is and what we would like to achieve. And another key element is the communication. So we be transparent in the communication, be clear in the communication, and use the cascade and also the stakeholder in the communication to be very clear, also to the people, that they know where they are and what's going on. So just to summarize also the impact of a successful change program. If we are talking about IT strategy and how we would like to implement an IT strategy, it consists of multiple dimensions. So one dimension is, it's very functional and near to the processes. So all the things I mentioned today, but another dimension is the change. And if you do the change right, if you spend time and energy into that change, you can achieve also results in a better resilience and a better performance. Involve HR, activate the stakeholders, the leadership as a multiplier. Be good in the communication and try to be fact-oriented. It is leave the feelings. Try to set up a framework where you can measure the success and where you can be transparent to the people. That is what I personally learned. That helps, to shape one team spirit. To involve the people, to shape the culture. And also the IT value chain and the overall delivery. That helps overall in the change program to improve the resilience. And by including or implementing a global governance, by developing the skills of the people, by focus on the value add for the company, you can improve the performance of the IT organization overall. So my lessons learned in that process were that you use the momentum when you start. Use that energy, push it into the organization. Have some kind of inner circle you can use as a multiplier. Understand the culture. That's quite important. To define also the North Star. What I learned in person is to find the right balance between the own speed and expectations and what the organization can deliver. Because in the first year we defined too many targets. It was too much for the organization, and it was some kind of overload at the end. So the energy at the end of the year was completely gone. And therefore we decided to do a step back and define less targets and try to connect them in a better and efficient way. And last but not least, give recognition and also opportunities to the employees. Yeah, try to give them, make a plan together with them. Try to develop the people that they have a perspective in that organization. That's the challenge now in the global IT, to tell and explain the people and the employees in the subsidiaries that we do not plan to lose them. We want to integrate them in the whole organization. We want to develop them, even if they are losing their current activities in the home turf where they are active. Yeah? For example, the push from a commodity service to external partners. So many people have to change and develop. And this is something we have to moderate, and therefore it helps to involve HR and to be very clear from the very first beginning that all people are involved in that whole process. So that's it. I'm not sure if I was too fast, so we saved some time, or is perfect. So thank you very much.